And just to quickly run through the objectives of these sessions. So the reason we're running these sessions is to try and re-engage with operators on some of the existing and new features that have been deployed to bots. And we're always open to any specific concerns or feedbacks around bots features and how we can continuously improve bots, specifically for obviously our stakeholders and operators that use bots and engage with it. So in terms of today's session, we'll be running through timetable line level reporting as mentioned. So as you probably previously know, there was a separate services requiring attention report that we used to have that was specific to timetable services that required attention. That's been changed to a more consolidated single spreadsheet that has your lines requiring attention for all 3 data types. So because recently BODS has implemented AVL reporting at line level, we are now able to do line level services requiring attention for both timetables and AVL. And there is, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be having fares included in those reports. So there's one consolidated spreadsheet that includes all line-specific compliance issues in one location, and it allows operators to clearly see what compliance issues there are with all their registered lines. It provides details about missing data, inconsistencies, stale data, etc. So an operator can see which lines are flagging up as requiring attention and then work towards fixing those compliance and data quality issues. So in terms of what we mean by non-compliant and compliant, in terms of the specific report, if a service or line comes up as non-compliant, it means that the service requires attention and further action is required. That might be because there's unpublished data or specifically untimely or stale data. Compliant in this case obviously means that the service is fine and there's no further action required on your end. And what we mean by untimely is that the data that has been published is stale. So that means that it's either got one of these 3 untimely data issues. So it's either incomplete 42-day look ahead, and that comes up when so before a service starts, BODS requires that the timetables data is published at least 42 days ahead of the scheduled start date of that service. So that's because we want that data available in time for consumers of that data to make it available to the public. The second one is OTC variation not published, and so for example, if you've changed the registration with the OTC, if you've updated that registration, for example, we'd expect that data to be reflected on BODS. And then finally, service not updated within a year. We require on BODS that your data is refreshed at least once a year, obviously because school holidays changed, bank holidays changed, so just making sure that the data that is published to BODS is up to date. And just to quickly run through a walkthrough of how to navigate to this report and what's included. So as you know, you'd navigate to the BODS platform, click Find Bus Open Data, then click View Operator Profiles, search your operator's name, and then you'd be navigating towards your operator profile page. And then in the timetables data section, you'll see your services that require the total in-scope services requiring attention percentage. So you want this ideally to be as low as possible. That indicates there's less services requiring attention. And then if you click download the detailed report, that will allow you to download the compliance report that we're discussing. So if I just move on to how to do that on the website. So again, find bus open data, view operator profiles, and then you can either search yours, or I'm just, for the purpose of this, just going to use first bus stop as an example. So this would be their operator profile, and then you download a detailed export, and that downloads an export. I'm going to run through a test CSV file just to show you this has got dummy data in it. So the report includes your registrations, the service number, so the specific lines, whether it's registered in scope, etc. So in terms of specifically for timetables data, the columns you'd be looking at are these 3 here. So columns H, I, and J. So the first thing you do is filter for services that require attention on this page. So that would be these 2. And in terms of this data, it's just unpublished data. But if it was published and the timeliness status had one of the 3 issues, you'd know that it was either 42-day look ahead, OTC variation not published, or the data needs to be updated and it hasn't been updated within a year. So that kind of covers everything in terms of timetables, line level reporting.